Love magnets. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to Attract and Love Energy, episode number 36. We are doing Toxic Femininity Part 4. This is the last installation in this series, and this installation has been so lit. Thank you guys so much for your participation, your support throughout this. So we're going to hop right into it tonight. Toxic femininity. What is toxic femininity? This is the fourth part of the series. I am going to quickly list those. And that is, well, we're going to do that in a minute. Let me do this right now. Right now, I want to get into this. You guys, it's of the ultimate importance that we begin to imagine something different than what we have discussed in these series, right? Part 1, we talked about toxic femininity from the root chakra perspective. The root chakra perspective was going into a toxic form of femininity that is codependent, that seeks out rejection, and that is also giving from a place of lack, right? Abandonment, scarcity, things of that nature, those type of mindsets, right? We also talked about that sacral feminine perspective on toxic femininity, when we are failing to draw boundaries, right? When we are giving from an empty cup, giving from an empty place, right? We also talked about that solar plexus energy, that perspective on toxic femininity, failing to individuate from others. We also talked about the opening of the heart chakra, in which we embrace our own emotions, right? As we use and utilize and recognize our emotions as pointers, right? Even an alarm system or a navigation system, rather than rejecting our own emotions, which leads us to be closed off to other people's emotions, unable to hear when other people express their emotions, right? Which connects us to the throat chakra, right? So I highly, highly encourage you to go ahead and review those first 3 segments if you haven't already. Go ahead and review those, right? After you watch this, it's well worth the watch. The discussions got really good. They were fun. They were deep. They were funny, right? And as people come into the room, again, I welcome you guys, of course, to be a part of this conversation. Go ahead and say hello as you come in the room. This is part 4 of what is toxic femininity. And tonight, hey, Cameron, how are you? Glad to see you tonight. Kevin Singh, greetings, greetings, greetings. Thank you for coming in the room. Tonight, we are talking about toxic femininity from the perspective of the third eye chakra and the crown chakra. Okay, so it's absolutely imperative, you all, that we look at this perspective tonight from the third eye, starting with the third eye, which is most often described as your intuition, right? The third eye energy is most often associated with the intuition. Has anyone ever heard that? That the third eye is for intuition. Your third eye is what allows you to see things that you cannot see in the natural, allows you to intuitively know when something may be amiss or even when something is about to go well. Has anyone ever heard that? Give me some hearts in the chat if you've heard that before. You've heard people refer to the third eye, right, as a source of intuition and knowing what's going on, right? So you guys, looking at the ideal of toxic femininity, the concept of toxic femininity from a third eye perspective, that intuition, right, is also closely related to imagination. Okay, and we're going to talk about it from both perspectives tonight, right? But you guys, it's so important for us to reframe imagination. Okay, who has ever been told that imagination is just for children? We've heard this, right? Oh, that's just your imagination. That's a way of dismissing something. Oh, it's just your imagination, right? Because we're told that what is imagined cannot be real. Greetings, Jit. Thank you for coming into the room. We are told that what is imagined cannot be real, right? That something cannot both be real and imagined, which is totally false. Like almost as soon as you hear it, you almost immediately know that's not true. We're told that what's imagined cannot be real, but we instinctively, as soon as we hear that, we know that's not true. Why? Because the chair we're sitting in right now was once in someone's imagination. Right? It was conceived of, it was born in someone's imagination. Third eye energy, right? Is that not true? Isn't the same true for the device that you're watching me on right now? Didn't this at one point in time only live in someone's imagination? And here we are using this device? If that sounds true to you, give me some hearts in the chat. Give me some hearts in the chat. I know this makes sense to everyone, right? So from our third eye chakra, from the third eye perspective, we need to frame our imagination like this, okay? Imagination is the tool by which we illustrate the way we create an image, or it gives a sound to, or a storyline to what our intuition is telling us is here, is telling us is reality. Right? Think about this with me. Your imagination is an illustrator. Does that make sense to everyone in the chat? Right? You get an instinct, a gut instinct that may not be a clear picture, but just an idea from your intuition, and your imagination is the coloring pencil, right? It's the sketch artist that illustrates what your intuition is telling you. If you can see that, give me some hearts in the chat, right? So my point for us in terms of toxic femininity is that we need to tap into our third eye energy to illustrate the idea of what is balanced and healthy femininity. What we would call divine femininity, right? A model of the divine, a reflection of the divine. Rather than codependent behaviors, oppressive or oppressed behaviors, right? All the things we've been talking about in the first 3 parts of this series, right? Give me some thumbs up if that resonates. You know, it's upon us to begin to imagine that, just like someone imagined the chair that I'm sitting on, just like someone imagined the device that you're watching me on, that's now reality. Right? It's upon the seekers of truth to begin imagining a different model. Right? So we need to utilize the third eye energy in that way, as that tool when it comes to outgrowing, overcoming, disproving, and dismantling the ideals we've been given, the perspective we've been given of femininity under toxic feminine rule. Okay, if this is making sense, give me some thumbs up in the chat. Can anyone imagine an ideal of femininity without those toxic feminine constructs that we've been taught? Does anyone else feel warm and tingly when I say that? If you can feel that somewhere else in your body, as you begin to get a sensation, when you tap into that third eye chakra and begin to imagine what balanced femininity looks like, tell me if do you not get tingles somewhere else in your body? For me, I feel it in my chest. I also feel it in my sacral. Actually, it just really, the more I dig into it, the more I just start to feel all the energy flow up, out, down, and around, right? Healthy energy is free flowing energy. Good vibes, high vibes are free flowing vibes, right? So it feels so good. It feels so warm, right? It feels so expansive when we begin to imagine these the dismantling these constructs that we've been told that, for example, that only femininity is weak, that femininity equals weakness, right? Or that, only the feminine is the nurturer, that a nurturer cannot be a man. We know that's false, right? And when we begin to observe how true it is that men are nurturers. Healthy men are nurturers. Healthy men are nurturers. Loving men are nurturers. Balanced men are nurturers, right? Yeah, it's like we always only associate nurturing characteristics with femininity, and that's so imbalanced. That's so imbalanced. When we begin to observe that truth and let that sink in and picture what that looks like, picturing the loving father, right? The passing on of wisdom of a nurturing father, the protection of a big brother, right? Come on. The warmth of a grandfather, a loving grandfather, that's nurturing energy, right? So that is a divine feminine characteristics, but it's a divine masculine as well. It's so important to recognize the truth of how those are really the same. How we're really talking about is a point of singularity. Balance is a point of singularity. Tell me if that makes sense. Give me some hearts in the chat. Give me some hearts in the chat if that feels true to you in your heart. Right? So, continuing on, listen, we are recognizing that our imagination is the illustrator for our intuition, that gut, that basic instinct that brings attention, brings your emotion and your attention, laser focus to one point, and then that third eye, that imagination begins to illustrate, right? Greetings, Shanae. That imagination begins to illustrate, to draw a picture, to bring color to bring a sound, to bring a storyline to what your intuition first told you. Right? That's two different aspects of third eye chakra energy, intuition and imagination. Now, as we begin, our intuition, the reason why we, rise up against toxic femininity is because our intuition is telling us that that's not right and that something better exists. Our intuition, right, tells us something better exists, that it is needed, just like this chair was needed, just like this device you're watching me on was needed, and that it was possible. Only your intuition can bring that to you, that this is something that is needed and is possible. Your observation and your intuition, right? So then your imagination begins to imagine the thing. Our intuition is telling us that there's something other than this toxic feminine model that we've been given. There's something that tells us in our spirit when we see women being told, hey, exploiting yourself is empowerment. Exploiting yourself the same way oppressive men have exploited you. Now doing this for yourself, well that's women's empowerment. That's self-empowerment. Our intuition is telling us, no. Hold on. Now, something's not right. That's your intuition. And then our imagination is going to begin to fill in the blanks, to draw the picture. right? Of women standing in their own light as strong women without being called masculine, right? Like femininity also represents strength, obviously. It takes, you don't even, we know how much strength it takes to birth a child, right? Just to keep it super basic, right? As well as imagining bringing in the image of the nurturing masculine. We know this is possible, and we fill in the blanks with our imagination, right? So, you guys, peace, Patah. Greetings. Welcome to the room. So, that's encompassing that third eye energy. And listen, if you've been following this series, if you are still watching this conversation 16 minutes into the video, you are being guided to the indicators that you are the person to bring this forth, or to support those who bring this energy forth, right? If you've been led to this conversation, whether it's just tonight or the first three series, the first three installments of this series, this is an embodiment of crown chakra energy pointing you toward the fact that you are the one to embody this divine feminine, this nurturing masculine energy, and support those who do bring that forth. Crown chakra energy. Our crown chakra is our connection to all that is, including those potentialities that you imagine and that you begin to create when you tapped into that third eye energy to imagine something higher. When your intuition was telling you, no, toxic femininity is not the real, it is not divine feminine energy, and we're not going to dress this up and we're not going to mask it any longer. Right? Greetings, Zena. So, you guys, Miss Fortitude, welcome to the room. So, you guys, if this is, give me some hearts, give me some thumbs up. Thank y'all for letting me know this resonates. So when we're looking at this, what is toxic femininity? Y'all, if you have questions, please give me some questions. If questions come to your mind with this, questions in the room, I welcome absolutely any questions at all that come to your mind as you hear this. Thanks for all the love and the support. That's right. This is our final installment in this series, guys. So we have to dig into the importance of utilizing both the third eye energy and the crown chakra energy to combat toxic femininity. Right? You guys, if you can see that the images that are on social media right now of what we're being told is femininity or is balanced and healthy femininity, if you can tell that that is actually toxic, if you know that hair and nails and makeup is not what makes you feminine, if you know that a woman in hair, nails, and makeup and a dress can still be masculine in her energy, if that energy is not divine, give me some hearts in the chat. We know this is true, right? We know we're being sold lies. So Patan says, what can us men, fathers of daughters, do to help? Protect women. This is number one. Protect women who do embody divine feminine energy. And I'm not just talking about physical protection. I'm talking about emotional, psychological protection, which is support, right? Support. Honesty, right? Transparency with your emotions, right? And engaging women as whole humans, not engaging women based on what they can do for you, whether it be to, to benefit your life, in general, or just on a physical level. Don't deal with them on the basis of trying to extract something from them. Don't deal with us on that basis, right? That's what men can do. And also to continue to stay engaged with women when they are standing in their own light, and to not receive it as a threat. Receive that with love, right? Because then when you do that, you begin to exhibit the nurturing characteristics of the divine masculine, right? We have to continue to point out divine femininity and divine masculinity. That balance we're really talking about is a point of singularity. Does that make sense to someone? They're one and the same. They're one and the same. As above, so below, right? As without, so within. Divine masculine, divine feminine. Give me some hearts if this makes sense to you guys. Does that make sense to you? So Patap, thank you so much for asking that question. Asking questions like that and taking time to interact with conversations like this is exactly what you can do to support. Okay? Thank you so much for the support. I know we have some more questions about this. Was that helpful, Patap? And women, we got women. Y'all give some answers. We got a beautiful nurturing. Let me tell y'all something. Who this is in the chat, first of all. Patan has a popping TikTok. Okay, Patan goes on every day. I think around 4:30, depending on what coast you're on. Put your time in the chat, Patan, and it's just outside with nature, right? And talking about abundance, illuminating our connection to nature. This is a man exhibiting that divine masculine characteristic. It's 4:30 Central on TikTok. He goes live every day. He's going to do it every day this year. Every day this year. That's his commitment that he's made. And he's out there connecting us with nature. And for me, let me tell y'all something. It's so valuable for me because I don't do cold weather well at all. My body has a visceral reaction to cold weather. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm not trying to. On days it's cold, I'm in the house. Okay, so getting that spark. So, ladies in the chat, let's give Patan some more answers. Because you got, a man right now asking the question, what is it that men can do to support women in that divine feminine energy? And then again, if anyone else has a question, let's do that as well, right? These conversations is for all of us. And I do want it to be a conversation. I don't want a one-way conversation. I love sharing this with you guys. But y'all give me excellent and amazing ideas in the chat. And when people question, then there's more to channel as well. If y'all notice, y'all ain't really seen me most of the night looking at the notes. I have notes, but so much more is coming in. It's pouring in tonight to add to add to the conversation, guys, because it's absolutely vital what we're talking about. Everything that's going on globally right now, the answer is divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy. Coming to that point of singularity. We're talking about world peace. To just get straight to it. World peace. The balance of divine feminine and divine masculine energy will bring about world peace. Yes, oneness, unity. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So, y'all, if anyone else has a question, let's get a question. So, you guys, as we envision divine femininity, right? As we envision and I like starting the conversation from the aspect of toxic femininity, because you gotta have something that is the opposite, right? Just like how a rainy day like today was, and where I am, it was rainy and cloudy today. It really highlights the key aspects of a sunny day, right? It's like the exact thing that you miss is what's not here today, right? So it's helpful to look at the opposite of a thing to define the characteristics of a thing, right? So that's why we started the conversation talking about toxic femininity. And if you guys notice, throughout all, this is the fourth segment, we've yet to bash or shame anybody. That's not what we're doing, right? That's not what we're doing, right? And we're also not reaching back to the definitions that we have been given, right? About what woman should be, right? We're not trusting, like, okay, so in some religious circles, you may be given the example of Virgin Mary, right? Which also becomes, when that role or that expectation is bestowed on women, it can become toxic, right? That can be pushed on women as something toxic. You're supposed to be virginal. You cannot be a sexual being. That's wrong. That's dirty, right? A virtuous woman, is a totally non-sexual woman. How does that work? How does that work? How do we procreate and not be sexual beings? It's like that, believing that divinity and righteousness can only comes through this non-sexual event that separates us 1 degree, that keeps us 1 degree separated from God's source energy at all times, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Because we know we came from a sexual act, right? So to place a divider, to set man at odds with his own nature, his own sexual nature, doesn't that keep us one degree from source energy at all times? That's a form of oppression. That's a form of oppression. Okay? If you really let that sink in, that's a form of oppression. Okay? Give me some hearts. Give me some more hearts. I see the hearts coming in. Put some hearts in the chat. Let me know. Give me a yes if that sinks in for you. Right? So that's just an example of something that can become toxic. So we're not reaching back to those definitions because we are not afraid to create something, to lean into something new, to introduce something new. And I have to say new because we know there's nothing new under the sun. All these divine truths have been here and been with us, so that they've only been hidden, right? And I really want to say inaccessible because we were not vibrating high enough. No one Listen, if you are vibrating at the same frequency of any truth, it cannot be hidden from you. It will be revealed to you. All right? No one can really hide truth from you if you are vibrating at the same frequency as that truth. If that feels true to you, give me some hearts right now in this chat. Right? If you are vibrating at the same frequency of any truth, no one can hide that truth from you. Why? Third eye energy, crown chakra energy. Right? Okay, you guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. This has been amazing. I love to just be able to freely channel. You guys, I'm going to always like respect my audience enough to have some type of outline, to have something prepared, some idea of what's going to come out of my mouth. I'm never just going to just go live or just make a video just to like hear myself talk. I'm going to always have something prepared, but I love this free channeling that's been happening along with what I thought I was going to say tonight. If y'all, thank y'all for letting me know you've enjoyed this. I don't see any more questions coming in, you guys. But I do really appreciate all the comments, all the support in the chat. We're a little over the 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. But thank y'all so much for being a part of this series. This has been amazing, amazing, amazing. If by any chance you missed the first 3 segments, please go back and listen to those. When I tell y'all we had fun, we were on here cracking up and probably said some things that, yeah, I don't know if these videos could ever be monetized, but we had a good time. YouTube's not gonna like some of the things that were said, but we had a good time and we learned a lot together, didn't we? Oh my gosh. So thank y'all so much for the support, being in the chat with me again. I was like, part 4 is everybody gonna be here for a part 4? This is the last installment of this series, so it's been amazing. Thank y'all. I will see y'all on next week, and I do have Saturdays sound baths for women. Okay, so this is like it's an energetic support circle. Okay, energetic support circle is what it is. It's Saturday mornings. I'm going to put a link. I'm going to add a link to the description to book. All right. And that's it, you guys. Have a wonderful night. Peace. Love you guys.